Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to take a quick look, a pulse check really, on the Cardano ecosystem. There's been so much happening lately, it's hard to keep up. So we've pulled together some of the key updates to give you a clear snapshot of what's going on. Let's dive in.
So, we're going to break this down into 4 main parts. First up, we'll talk about projects helping you grow your digital assets. Then, we'll get into the teams that are actually building the tools of the future. After that, we'll see how the ecosystem is handling some tough, real-world challenges. And to wrap it all up, we'll zoom out and try to make sense of what it all means.
But before we jump in, I want you to just think about this question for a second. What does a healthy blockchain ecosystem actually look like? Right? It's not just about the price chart or the latest hype. A healthy ecosystem is alive, it's building, it's adapting, it's solving real problems. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through everything today.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. This is all about the stuff that hits closest to home for a lot of us, our assets and our rewards. How are teams making it easier for you to actually engage and get more out of the ecosystem? So check this out. The team over at Hoskilien has made growing your rewards super simple with this new auto-compounding feature. It's literally a 5-step process. You just pop into your Banker Labs profile, click a few buttons, select Hoskilien, and boom, your rewards are now working for you automatically. It's that easy.
But here's the kicker. It's not just about compounding. It's about how you do it. The team's been really clear on this. When you compound directly into their native token, HSKN, you're directly fueling the project's treasury. That means more future rewards for everybody. But if you compound into other verticals, that doesn't really support the ecosystem in the same way. So it really shows how a small choice you make can have a big impact on the project's health.
Okay, switching gears to the Walkers project. And just, wow, look at that number. In a recent flash sale, the community raised over 1.5 billion WLK tokens. That's a massive show of support, right? It gives them a serious war chest to work with, which is going to be vested to everybody who participated over the next 6 months.
And here's where you can see that energy paying off right away. This is just the first snapshot of their geolocation rewards. I mean, look at these numbers. Nearly 1.7 million WLK being distributed to people in the full map category, and about 1 million each for Labyrinth and Sports Centers. This isn't just theory. It's real, tangible rewards going out to the community for participating.
Okay, so we've seen how people are getting more engaged with their assets. But what about the folks in the trenches, the ones building the tools of tomorrow on Cardano? Let's take a little peek into the future.
And we start with a huge one. Simple, but so powerful. Chakra is now live on mainnet. Yeah, you heard that right. If you've been following the AI scene on Cardano, you know this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
So what is Chakra really? Well, it's the very first platform on Cardano that's all about total automation. It's an AI agent and a token launchpad. This means you can build your own AI, launch your own token, and automate really complex strategies, all powered by the $IND token. Just think about the possibilities here. We're talking trading bots that think for themselves, DeFi strategies that can adapt on the fly. This is a real game changer.
And you know, innovation isn't just about AI. It's also happening on totally new frontiers, like data privacy with the Midnight sidechain. This quote here is from the Lovelace Club after they chatted with the Midnight team. It just perfectly sums up the vibe in the ecosystem. The core dev teams really see and appreciate the pioneers who are out there building on their new tech.
And when I say they're at the forefront, I mean it. Lovelace Club is literally the only team that got community funding through Project Catalyst specifically for their work on Midnight. That is a massive vote of confidence from the Cardano community, putting them right at the cutting edge.
You just gotta love this energy from the Tokyo Wallet team. Can't stop building. That says it all, doesn't it? They are heads down, full-on development mode, promising big updates soon and just not slowing down. This is exactly the kind of relentless drive you want to see from a core project.
And of course, they leave us with this little gem, a classic if you know, you know. It's a shout out to their community, basically saying, hey, all this hard work, it's gonna pay off for you, the toke holders. It's a great way to build excitement and reward your supporters.
Okay, so building cool new tech is one thing. But for an ecosystem to really grow up, it has to face the messy, complicated real world. So in this next section, we're going to look at how Cardano projects are handling things like governance, regulations, and all that complex stuff.
And it really doesn't get much more real world than this. The Snek project has put forward a formal proposal to withdraw funds from the Cardano treasury. They're asking the community for a loan of 5 million ADA to get listed on more big exchanges. This is decentralization in the wild, folks. A community project asking the community itself for the funds to grow.
But as you can see here, getting that money isn't a walk in the park. It's a serious process. They need to get a yes from 2 different groups. A 67% approval from the DReps, those are the folks elected by the community, and pretty much the same from the Constitutional Committee. This whole setup is designed to make sure Treasury money is spent wisely, with broad support from everyone.
Now let's talk about a different kind of challenge: regulations from the outside world. The Vikings team summed up their recent journey with this really powerful quote: "The point isn't what happens to you, it's all about how you react."
And this timeline lays out their story perfectly. They were professional, they were proactive, new laws came in, so what did they do? They didn't try to find loopholes. They paused operations, set up a completely new, fully compliant company, and then they relaunched. They basically turned a huge headache into a stable, long-term solution.
And this is the most important part. They didn't just fix a legal issue, they looked after their people. To make up for the downtime, they brought their own BTC miners online to compensate their partners. I mean, that's a huge statement. It shows they're committed not just to the technology, but to the actual human beings they work with. It's the Viking way, as they say.
All right, so we've talked about growing assets, we've looked at new tools, and we've seen how projects are tackling real-world problems. For our last section, let's pull all of this together and really check the pulse of the Cardano ecosystem. What does all this activity really mean?
You know, when you lay it all out like this, a really clear picture starts to form. This is not an ecosystem that's just doing one thing. You've got projects laser-focused on user rewards, others launching foundational AI tech. You've got pioneers like Lovelace Club exploring brand new sidechains. You've got Snek testing the limits of governance. And you've got Vikings showing what mature regulatory navigation looks like. It's diverse, it's dynamic, and it's proving to be incredibly resilient.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Remember that question? What does a healthy ecosystem look like? Well, the evidence seems to be pointing to something that looks a lot like this. So I'll leave you with one last thing to chew on. With all these different projects pushing forward in their own way, which one do you think is going to define Cardano's next chapter? Is it the AI, the governance, the sidechains, or maybe something we haven't even seen yet?